Presentation on a mathematical problem by Milica Simic, student number 7627955. We need to recognize that mathematics is everywhere, in shopping, gardening, building and playing games. This will help us to figure out how to lower our environmental footprint. Our focus is to try to solve the problem of lowering our environmental footprint. The mathematics that will be used will be money and financial mathematics, number and place value, data representation and interpretation for grade 5 children. The environmental footprint, in simple terms, is the impact humans are having on the world and the amount of greenhouse gas emissions being made. Together with children, we need to understand what they know and their thoughts and ideas. This can be done through a mind map. The problem that we will be trying to solve will be local versus imported food. To understand this problem, research needs to be taken to know how this impacts the environment. We need to Local produce is produce that is produced close to your home so the food and you don't have far to meet. Farmers markets are now a great way for people to get fresh, locally produced food that has little gas emissions. We can now begin to go through the process to work out how to solve the issue of lowering our environmental footprint. In order to work out the problem, we will be using Polyer's 4-stage model. First, we need to understand the problem. Step 2, we need to plan for the problem. Step 3, we need to carry out our plan. And step 4, we need to look back and reflect. Step 1, understand the problem. So the problem we are looking at today is local versus imported food. We need to recognise that buying local produce contributes less to the greenhouse problem. The aim of this investigation is to decide whether local or imported food is better. We need to determine the cost of the produce and what is the difference in price, and to find out the gas emissions by mode of transport for the produce to reach our table. Make a plan. Everyone needs to pick 3 produce that they'll be focusing on. So the next time you go shopping, try to find the 3 products and their prices. Compare the local with the imported. Make a graph to compare the prices. Looking here, I have done one earlier using strawberries, carrots and tomatoes. Looking at my graph, it can be seen that local strawberries were $10 a kilo while imported were $16. Carrots were $4 a kilo for local and imported were $1. Tomatoes were $5 a kilo for local and $4 for imported. Step 3. We need to carry out the plan. Below we have a table to work out the gas emissions when food is transported. Say for instance a plane. Gas emissions per kilometre for each kilogram of food is 1.1010. We need to organise our local and imported foods into a table. Here is one that I have done. Here you can see the imported food, where it's come from, where it's going, the method of transport and the distance in kilometres it has travelled. Table 2 has local produce, which also uses the method of transport and the distance in kilometres. In order to work out the gas emissions, we need to use a simple formula. For example, 1 kilogram multiplied by the kilometre travelled multiplied by the method of transportation will give us the amount of greenhouse gas emissions. Using the data from the tables, I can now work out my greenhouse gas emissions. For example, local strawberries that I have chosen were 1 kilo multiplied by 20 kilometres multiplied by 0.2699, which gave me 5.398 gas emissions, while the imported strawberries gave me 14,164.365 gas emissions. That's a big difference in gas emissions. Now that we have the formula, we can work out how far the produce you have chosen has travelled. So remembering our 3 produces that we picked, we need to complete a bar graph to highlight the prices. After that, we complete the table of where your produce has travelled from and the distance travelled. If you have trouble, go onto your iPad and you can find the distance of the country that you're looking at. Using the information, you then use the formula to work out the greenhouse gas emissions. Now that we've done our research and we've done our graphs, we need to look back. Local and imported food has been analysed and data made on 3 food items. It can be seen that at times certain local food may be more expensive, however the gas emissions might be low. While imported food may be more cost effective, the gas emissions produced by transporting it to Australia is quite high. By using our equation, we were able to identify which method and distance produced the most emissions. In order to lower our environmental footprint, it is better to buy local produce and visit farmers markets to buy our fruit and vegetables that are in season rather than purchasing imported produce.